Hello, I've got a gorgeous, beautifully detailed stained glass card to show you today. This is a really interesting technique, and these new dies work perfectly for this. So let me introduce you to which dies we're using. I've got the new, out of the Finishing Touch range, the classic bow, and we're going to show you how to mix that with the filigree bow. They're so pretty. Even by themselves, they're gorgeous, but you put them together and they're even prettier. And we've got the Calabria out of the Italian collection, which we're going to be using for the stained glass. Now, a couple other items that you'll need for this is the acetate. This is by Creative Expressions. And just a little extra I've used is the Marvelous Squares from Spellbinders, and specifically what I've used is this die from it, and I've used the waste that actually comes out of it for your corners. So that's a good little tip for that one. Let's start with the stained glass. And what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've cut one of the centers out of this Calabria design. I've added a bit of acetate to the back, just around the edge, and trimmed around the edge, okay? So working from the back, the side with the acetate, what we're going to do is bring in our polished silk glitters, and I'm going to be using lilac. Let me take the lids off of those. Hunter green and sea green. There's a lot of different colors in this range, so you can pick any that you like. I thought they were really pretty together. So working from the back, there's a couple things you need to know. You want to start with your darkest color. Now, ordinarily when you're doing inking techniques and things, you usually start with a lighter color, but you're going to start with the darkest. So that is the hunter green. So you just have to decide what areas you want to have in your design to be that color. So we'll just actually do a few. I've got one finished for you. So we'll just pop some glue in there and let's just try this little section. And from the back, you've got a bit of an edge there from where the die shows through, so you don't have to be too neat with your glue. So we'll do a couple here, and you can just get an idea. Just put the glue on there, making sure that you cover that entire section. And then all you're going to do is sprinkle your glue or your glitter on, tap it off, give it a good tap. A light blow, and that'll take off your little pieces. You can even use an anti-static pad on your acetate before you start, and that'll help too. So do all of the areas that you want that particular color first. So you would go through and however many more you want, and then we'll move on, and I'll show you the next color, which I think I would do the lilac. It's probably a toss-up between the two there. And let's use this side of it. And just to do a little teeny bit more here, we'll do this little section here, and you can see. So just work the glue across there. And this is just the Cosmic Shimmer Dries Clear Glue, which is absolutely perfect for it. We'll actually do one over here, filling it in. If you get an air bubble, just pop it. There you go. And let's do some lilac. Now, the reason we do the darker color is because if you were to do the lightest color first, you'll notice that you get some of that color onto the back of the glitter that you've already put on. So the darker would change the color on the lighter. But having had the dark on first, you're not going to change that color. I hope that makes sense to you. Pop that in there, and we'll just do one more little section here, and then there we go, and we'll do a little bit of the green. Let's do one more section. And I'll show you what to expect when you get it all completely finished. There we go. So from the back, it's going to look like this. From the front, until it dries, it's going to be completely white, like the glue. So I've got one I've done ahead of time. In fact, let me just move this out of our way. And we'll tuck these to the side. And I'll show you. Let me get this tidied. There we go. From the back, you're going to have something that looks like this, all right? But from the front, it looks absolutely stunning because it'll dry in those shapes and you won't see all your glue edges that you're looking at on the back. And you can actually see how some of the colors have gone over the other colors. Makes no difference from this side at all. So just so it doesn't surprise you, the first time I think I saw this, I was really taken back by what the back looked like. But when you turn it over, you do get that ultimate reveal, and it's like, oh, wow, beautiful moment. So next thing I'm going to do is start to assemble some of the bow. And I'll tell you what we've done. We've already gone ahead and cut the filigree bow, the plain bow. And I'm going to put some glue on the back of this one. And just a little bit here and there. We'll fill in some spots. And we're going to put them together and get that started to set up. Little dots here and there is probably about all you need to get them to attach to each other. And they're the same exact size, so we should just be able to get them on there. Oops. Nicely put together. Okay. And what I'm going to do is put a little bit of glue here, here, in the center, and on the tips. I'm going to set that to let it actually get tacky. And we'll put this one together with the tails. I'm just going to be doing a single bow, which is the really nice thing about these new bows. You can do singles, you can do doubles, you can mix them together. There's different tails, all sorts of options. And we've got a beautiful ribbon, and I've actually used that, put it onto the card that we'll be making. That into place. Let that set up. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back of the tie wrap piece and let that set up. And then we'll do some assembly on our card and come back to them. In fact, we'll put that right like that so it can be all put together. Now, I've gone ahead and put, like I said, this is the ribbon that comes with the filigree bow. We've used this one on the demo card, so you'll be able to see the difference with and without. I've gone around the edge with some white PVA glue dots, and here's those little fall-away pieces I was talking about earlier. So they've come in really handy to fill in nice little corners. So I've cut 2 of these, and I'm going to layer them up and just show how pretty they look once they're offset. Put a little bit of Cosmic Shimmer glue on the back, and I've got very similar design, but the end pieces are slightly different, so you get a little bit of a different design when you put them together. I think it's really pretty for the stained glass. Mounting foam on the back. Let me peel the backing off of that. And we'll get that on our card situated. That looks pretty good. And we'll go ahead and glue this one into place. Now, I definitely use glue for this because you've got some texture. It's raised up just a bit. You want to make sure it's good and stuck. But I tell you what I think I will do is right in the very center, I'm going to actually use a glue dot just to make sure we're going to stick on there nicely too. Because there's some texture, so I want to make sure it's not going to be recessed enough there to work. And let's go like that. Fits right in the center. How pretty is that? You can put a little pearl in the center if you like. So I think this should be about ready now. We'll come back and we'll start to assemble our bow. So you're going to give it a little bit of flexing in the middle to kind of turn those ends. And because you've got the 2 pieces, it's going to be a little bit tighter. Okay, so we'll hold them together just like that. We'll just have to hold it for a second until it sets up. If you've got an acrylic block, this is very handy to do too. Just put a block right in the center. Do some other crafting, and you can just let that sit until the glue dries and it holds it perfectly. But I think we're going to see if we can put that together while it's still a tiny bit wet for you. So wrap piece next. We're going to pop that around. And this is actually designed to fit around both pieces of the bow and the tails that go out sideways. So it may be a tiny bit long. I think I'm going to leave it a little on the loose side for us here. And let's see if we can just pop that into place. like that. Put a little tail down there. Got a tiny bit of glue on there I can get off later, but you can see how pretty that'll work. And I'll use a glue dot and we'll just put it into place on our card that way. That should hold it. There we go. Well, if you're doing it at home, obviously let it sit and dry really, really well. But I finished a gorgeous card. You'll need to let your stained glass dry overnight till all the glue is dry, but it's so pretty, isn't it?